My name is Mike Meredith. I'm the doctor of Doctor's Woodshop. The governing principle of the Doctor's Woodshop finishes has always been wood should look like wood. And the corollary of that is that wood should feel like wood. Not some piece of plastic, not a thick bar top sort of finish. When I started making what most people would consider the friction polishes, that is Pens Plus and the walnut oil wax and shellac wood turning finish, I was looking for a durable, glossy finish that let the wood shine through and let the feel of the wood come through. I was sort of driven by the fact that I can't use cyanoacrylate. I'm one of those people who gets a massive vasodilation response, face turns red, and down I go. So the walnut oil wax and shellac finishes, those that most people would consider friction polishes, although everything I make actually is a friction polish because it needs the heat of the lathe to actually activate the product, were designed to stand up to incidental water contact, not like a salad bowl. Although the water is not the biggest problem, it would be the acidity of a salad dressing that would keep you from using these products on salad bowls because they are food safe. I wanted something that was quick, easy, one step, gave a durable finish that had a glossy shine to it, but yet let the tactile aspects of the wood show through as well as the appearance. I readily admit that I'm not a pen turner. I will turn pens if driven by curiosity or by need, or if I need a pen, but it's not the mainstay of my turning. Why then would I name one of my finishes Pens Plus? Well, there are a couple of reasons. First, the pen turning community has been, they were an early adopter of the Doctor's Woodshop finishes and have been very supportive of my products. And secondly, to me, a pen is sort of a metaphor. A pen is anything that's going to get that incidental water contact, it's going to get the oil from the skin. It's not going to be submerged in water, it's not going to be wet. Things like a peppermill, the handle of a pizza cutter, ice cream scoop, the bowl you put M&Ms in, but not a salad, bottle stoppers. Things that need to be used need to have a tough finish, but are not going to be submerged or exposed to aqueous conditions the way a salad bowl is. So Pens Plus was the microaggregated microcrystal wax product that I brought out, and I thought I'd give a nod to the pen turning community. In this section, I want to demonstrate the use of Pens Plus, and we're going to finish what is one of my favorite projects, and that's the Peppermill. I like the Peppermill because I enjoy the milling aspect of it, the drilling, the measuring, but I also like the idea that someone is going to use this. I like the functionality of the Peppermill. Although the Peppermill is one of my favorite projects, it's made out of one of my least favorite woods, and that's English walnut. English walnut can be very pretty, but it can be very largely sapwood, which this piece is. The sapwood is very soft and cracks easily, which is a problem for making a peppermill because of the expansion chuck used to hold it in place. Anyway, we're going to finish a peppermill, and I'll show you a little bit about how I turn peppermills, but also how we would use Pens Plus. You can see I have the peppermill mounted in the plastic expansion jaws that actually go into the bottom of the mill and expand to hold it in place. Because the English walnut splits so easily, I've reinforced that with a hose clamp and a bit of tissue to protect the surface. As soon as I get the end done and I can bring up the live center, I can take that off. The porous nature of the sapwood of English walnut is a good example, gives me a good example to talk about preparing surfaces. Even though it's been sanded to 600 with a sanding lubricant, we still need to make sure, I want to make sure that the surface is actually as smooth as I can make it. And to do that, I'm going to use the high build friction polish as a sanding sealer to actually give the Pens Plus a better surface to sit on. No finish is any better than the surface that it goes on. And once I bring up the live center, we'll take care of that. All I'm doing now is friction polishing the high build friction polish in this trumpet part of the Peppermill. Let that set for a few seconds. Then we can bring out the Pens Plus. Pens Plus is a walnut oil micro-aggregated microcrystal wax finish that we found to be very durable. It produces a nice high gloss finish that seems to last for a very long time. It seemed to be ideal for pens, hence the name Pens Plus. So let's get a couple of coats. Into this part of the Peppermill. Now, finishing this part is actually much more important than it would seem to be. It looks like, well, it's inside, who cares? Well, this is where the Peppermill turns. This is where the wear and tear is going to show up the most. Again, you can't turn it too fast. It just takes a little longer to generate the friction. All I'm doing is friction polishing the Pens Plus. The second coat and the third coat. 3 coats of Pens Plus is more than enough. And you really need to feel the heat. When you heat up the walnut oil, you accomplish a couple of things. One, you speed up the polymerization. But 2, you actually thin it a bit. And the thinner oil penetrates the wood much better than the thicker oil. There we go. So that end of the Peppermill is finished. I'm going to let it sit for a little bit. The shellac is still in sort of a mobile plasticizing phase. And if you go in too quick, you can disturb the shellac. So 45 seconds when you're done, and you're ready to go. You can see that I've taken off the hose clamp from the back and moved up the live center with a bit of towel to protect the trumpet part of the Peppermill. All I'm doing now is adding a quick coat of high build friction polish to seal the surface and give it just that little extra bit of smoothness for the Pens Plus to lay down on. Making sure that the surface is saturated, then going back and friction polishing the high build friction polish to make it ready for the next coat. With the surface sealed by the high build friction polish, even the first coat of the Pens Plus is bringing up a very nice shine. Just back and forth, you can feel the wax melting underneath the cloth, underneath the paper towel, as we saturate the surface. You can see that putting it back between centers improves the rotation considerably. And because with the live centers in place, I don't have to worry about the expanding chuck in the base exerting too much pressure. All right, that's 2 coats. Let it cool just a little bit. How do you know if you've put on too much, if you've added too many coats? Well, instead of getting clear and shiny, the finish will start to get cloudy. Well, what do you do when that happens? Well, keep your towel on the piece, and eventually it gets hot enough that you'll start taking the finish off. Let it sit for a bit, cool down, and then put 1 more coat back on just to finish the piece up. Now, as you add your top coat, you'll see areas that clearly need a little bit more work. The base of this Peppermill is mostly sapwood. There's a nice heartwood streak going through it, But that sapwood is going to take up a lot more finish than the hardwood component. And there we have a Pens Plus finish on the base of our Peppermill. Finishing on this one is going to be the same as the bottom part. A coat of high build friction polish to act as a sealer. And then we'll put on about 3 coats of Pens Plus. Again, like the bottom, this was sanded to 600 grit with the Klingspor cloth back J-weight paper with the walnut finishing oil as a sanding lubricant. That's nice and hot. So now we can move to the Pens Plus to get the final top coat onto the piece. And I'm looking to make sure that the surface is covered uniformly. There's one spot right there. There we go. To make sure that the finish is going onto the piece in a uniform fashion so that we're going to get a uniform shine when the finishing is done. The pen turners were early adopters of the walnut oil carnauba wax shellac wood turning finish. They found it gave a very nice finish to their pens that stood up pretty well. And the microaggregated microcrystal wax that's in Pens Plus, I think does a little better job with shine for all those reasons that we talked about in the wax segment of this presentation. I think you just get a little better shine from the microcrystal waxes. I'm going to let that dry, or let it cool for just a second, and maybe put on one more. I see some spots that could be evened out a little bit by another application. But on the whole, we are done with finishing this Peppermill. I don't like to turn English walnut, but I sure like the way it looks when you're done. So I guess maybe it's one of those things you trade this for that. Quick, easy, durable. And there we have it. A Peppermill finish with Pens Plus. Neat, clean, one step, durable, and it makes the wood look great. Thanks for dropping in.